Alrighty, welcome to CuePoints, the mobile DJ podcast. I am Anthony. This is co-host Will.
What's going on, everybody? Dude, it's a big day.
It is a big day.
It's May 15th.
Yes, it is.
But it's also what?
Wednesday.
And?
CuePoints Day.
And? Our 10th episode,
yeah,
bruh.
Ding, 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 ding.
All right, people said we wouldn't make it, but here we are. You know, we made it. Yeah, exactly. Hey. I don't know. That I don't think that's going to be the new theme song, but we'll think about it.
No, that's our 10th episode celebration song.
Really sorry. I didn't know this was Jeopardy. My apologies. So everything's been good?
Everything's great.
Awesome, man. Very, very cool. We had an awesome time last week when we were at the iDJ Now event.
Yes.
It was a lot of fun.
We've been getting a lot of support on that video, so thank you to all who have been watching.
And thank you to iDJ Now for having us and continuing to support us. That was a really cool event. We met a lot of cool people were there, a lot of good friends I was able to introduce you to. Loki was there, Danger was there, like a lot of really, really cool people.
Yeah, made some new friends.
Yeah, it was pretty crowded.
A bunch of guys that I had heard of and never got to meet, so that was a really cool experience.
Yeah, man. No, it was definitely crowded in there, though. I have never seen that many people in there other than for like some type of giveaway.
Same.
It's amazing. But we have a very special friend of mine in the studio today. He's not a DJ. He was a DJ.
Really?
Yeah, he was a DJ at one point.
I used to DJ.
Yeah, he used to DJ. But yeah, he's been a very good friend of mine for a long time, Mr. Justin Scheidling.
What's up, everybody? Thanks for having me.
No,
Hello.
Thank you for coming, man. I called him on the phone, you know, and his name came up, which is spelled incorrectly on purpose. It says Justin Scheidling, and yeah, so I was like, I'd love to have you on the show, man. So Justin, I'm gonna give a little bit of background, and then
please.
he can kind of fill me in on what I got wrong. But first of all, he's a studied musician, excellent drummer. Okay, and he's a percussionist, and he's a party percussionist. He's also one of the best ones I've ever seen. Okay, there are many times where we'll be booking an event, and it's because they've seen him do it. You know, with a DJ, don't get me wrong, a lot of times people want to see who the DJ is beforehand, but there's also a lot of times where they're just like, oh, okay, just let us know the week before. I've had multiple times where they only wanted him. So it's kind of like,
I just want to chime in here.
Chime in, please.
I've seen plenty of percussionists, and I have to say you're the best I've ever worked with.
Thank you.
He had us so amped up the entire time.
Yeah. It really works out, and the best thing I can attest to is he always gets a drum solo, because somehow every time he's there we lose power. We opened up for actually the three of us, so actually it's pretty cool. The three of us opened up for Steve Aoki, last week, and first of all, the show was insane. We all got to stay. We met Steve Aoki, which was really, really cool. Really nice guy. He thanked us.
Guy too.
Yeah, he thanked us for opening. He threw the cakes.
Well, right, he threw cake at 200 people, and then just like, oh, hey, what has it going?
And I mean, there was this one girl who was, on a guy's shoulders, and she got rocked. I mean, she took the cake to the face. She fell off the guy.
I think I saw that video, actually.
It was insane.
And everyone's got their phones out, so like the cake hit the phone, and the phone hit her.
I think it was
a double impact.
Yeah, there's a guy on the side who's trying to get the cake, add the little USB input on his phone, so he's trying to suck it out or something. I was
this is delicious.
But it was just a really, really cool experience. But so Justin, tell us about the background of how you got into this and how you ended up hitting things for a living.
All right, yeah. So the dream of mine was never to be the party percussionist or event percussionist, wedding percussionist, whatever you want to call it. It was never a thing for me. I was maybe 16 or 17 years old, and I had been playing drum set and percussion for different bands and stuff. And I had a manager at the time, and he goes, "Hey, have you ever done party percussion?" And I was like, "Well, what is that?" It was basically play with the DJ for 4 hours and we'll pay you, and it was X amount of dollars. And at that point, when you're 16, 17, it's like, oh wow, this is great, I didn't know he was taking 60, 70%.
Oh,
but yeah, I mean, everyone,
that's rough.
Everyone learns the hard way, I guess. But I was actually right here at Post when I got the call, and
because you went here as well.
Yep, I went. Yep, I went here for 2 semesters.
Which is actually the reason we met, because through a mutual friend. We'll get into that.
Yeah. So no, but I was actually in the band room. I got the phone call. I said, "Hey, the show's tomorrow. It's X amount of dollars. I mean, you're not doing anything anyway. Just come in and do it." He's like, "Do you have timbale drums and do you have this stuff?" I was like, "I have this and this." He's like, "Oh, you need these." So I was like, "All right." So I borrowed Posts for the night.
Oh, cool.
Borrowed. I gave him back. 100% gave him back. But I used him for the night, and I did the gig. and it was a fireman installation dinner at some hotel. And they were like, when you go up there, just, try to like dance a little bit while you're doing it, so you like look like you're having a good time. I was like, oh, okay, that's kind of easy because I just love playing in the first place. But I was in a show choir in high school where I met a bunch of our other mutual best friends. Yep. And I took a bunch of those, dance moves and that whole idea of like live performance and just kind of incorporated with drums. So I'm, walking around stage, I could do the spins and stuff. And
you are like super animated when you're up there. It's
just fun. You know what I mean?
It's a skeptical. For sure.
I get the.
Is that the right word?
It's a good word.
It's a very good word. It's just fun. You know what I mean? I get, the show kind of evolved from that point because, throwing the sticks and then doing the spins and stuff. And then once the party gets hype and I don't know anything at this point, 16, 17, I don't know anything about DJs. You know what I mean? Or like what parties are. My idea of a party is, at that point, I think it was like Project X just came out. So
wow.
So I remember the guy jumping off the roof into the pool.
I gotta replicate that somehow.
So that's what I did. So they have the subs, and I jumped on a sub, and then I jumped off the sub behind the drums. People like, that's so cool. Do it again. I was like, okay. So I just kept
signature move in the making.
It kind of just worked. And then then the blindfold thing that I do, and then that turned into LED glasses, and then that turned into my drums lighting up. And
painting them all white.
Well, that happened by accident. I never actually planned to make them white. There was a bunch of, when I was exploring what this, event percussion thing was, and again, I was never looking to make this my full-time gig. It was just like a fun thing I was doing on the side. Again, the money was good. So I was like, all right, let me just do this. I saw a couple other guys doing it, and whenever I Googled them, like they had duct tape holding stuff together and stuff was rusty, and I was like, these are like really big events that we're doing.
Yeah.
And like they just looked bad. And I was working with one company. We did a bar mitzvah, and I had orange bongos, a green snare drum, the two timbales were always silver, and then I had the same configuration, the floor tom on the side, was like black and silver, and I got to the gig. It was a bar mitzvah, and I go to step in front of the DJ booth, and the mother of the birthday boy, I guess, or whatever it was.
The mitzvah boy.
The mitzvah boy. She was like, are you going to set that up here? I was like, what do you mean? It's like, can you set it behind the DJ? Because it doesn't look that great. Like, I was like, I guess
could.
I could. I got paid for this already, so I'll do whatever you want, really. But so they set my gear up behind the DJ. So, and I was just
that
playing.
Must have been interesting.
It was weird, and
it was kind of like a, hey, maybe I should, make it more presentable.
Right, because then the guy I was talking to, he was a DJ at that point. He was just like, you might as well just paint all your drums white and make it all match everything. And I was like, okay. And then after that gig, I kind of had a little bit of a hiatus. Dropped the manager. It was a very bad situation. I made one of those stupid 17-year-old phone calls out of like anger, because there was a problem with the DJ and the manager. This is the first time I'm talking about this publicly, which is cool.
But finally get this off my chest.
Right here, CuePoints podcast.
Yeah, right. You guys got some real dirt right now. I feel like a Kardashian. So, all
right, let's not go too far.
But anyway, the problem, they weren't getting along anymore, and they kind of put 17-year-old me in the middle, like this one versus this person. So I was 17, I don't know what to do, and I was just saying anything to keep my manager happy. I ended up calling back the DJ and like cursing him out to his face by accident. I hate you, and
because you can do that by accident, by the way.
I did.
Oh, yeah.
No,
happens all the
I
time.
thought I was talking to person A, so I was like, person A. I told off person B. I told him, to go F himself and to go, eat S. I'm trying to censor this for you.
We appreciate it.
I'm really trying to give you like a hand here, Will. But I told him all this stuff.
Look at Will over there.
You said this like you can censor this, so I'm trying here.
Currently.
But no, and then he's like, oh, by the way, you're talking to the person you just said you told the stuff to. I was like, oh, great, So I panicked, hung up the phone. I went to bed with a pocket knife under my pillow because I was afraid they were gonna come get me. It was bad. Like I was crying and sobbing.
Really
my mom. I was like, Mom, they're gonna come for me. They're gonna come for me.
Teresa, Teresa, help me.
But from that, it kind of, I just had a break for a while, and I just didn't book this stuff. And then I was playing in church one day, and I found one of my students there. His name's John Piazza. He was one of my students, and his dad is John Piazza, who's a DJ out here. He works with Sonic Boom. And from him, I was DJing with him, and he goes, "Do you ever like DJ or anything like that?" I was like, "Yeah, I dabble in it. I did some events with him. We did some, Cystic Fibrosis Foundation. We did, a bunch of these upper end parties." And he goes like, "Do you play drums and stuff?" I was like, "Well, I play drums with the DJ." That kind of springboarded it. And he's like, "Listen, I'm working with this really big company. They're called Sonic Boom, and we got this party at the Venetian, and I was like, just be there and bring your drums." It was cool. It's like, all right. I said I had like a month of plan. I was like, well, let me make it look good for these guys at least. So I painted everything white, and it was like a hit. The people really dug it, and he's like, "I never saw that before." And fast forward, that was 6 or 7 years ago. Now it's like I can't go to a gig without having the white drums. Like now it's like you need to have that.
Yeah, you have a nice, clean setup.
Thank you.
I really like the way it looked.
It just works. And plus, like the lighting works because I'm matching what fits the room of the party. Mm-hmm. So I get to uplight it with the Chalvet stuff I have, and it's all mounted to it, which is nice.
No, it looks great.
And it matches what the event's supposed to be.
The new ones you have are really good too. He just got the Freedom H1s.
Oh, I love those.
So they're
things.
magnetic, so they go.
We
right.
make use of those a lot.
Yeah, I actually bought them after he was like, "Can you show me how to work with these and how to set them?" So I programmed
They're
his.
great.
The next day I bought 12 of them.
They're so good. I've met Chalvet at the NAMM show, the big convention over in Anaheim,
yeah.
and I was walking around. I checked all the drum stuff out. I was like, let me go check out the DJ stuff just because why not? Because people forget that I'm a drummer first. I do session work, so I play with different bands. I play, off Broadway stuff. I did it in the Heights. I've done stuff with Evan Petruzzi, and I played percussion for Nick Tangora. I was the drummer for Robbie Rosen, and people kind of all the video that's out of me is really just like people
Party
with their cell phones standing there, like, because they're not dancing anymore. They're just kind of staring at the weird guy throwing drumsticks and eating cookies while he's playing drums.
We know cookies very well on this show.
Yes, we do.
Oh, you see, you should have told me there was cookies. I love cookies.
Yeah, well, blame Anthony. He used to bring them.
Oh,
yeah.
All right. Well, but anyway,
we had to bring a stop to that. Things got weird.
No more cookies.
but it's the whole the DJ show that done just kind of exploded in ways I just didn't know was even possible. And the gigs just kind of got more and more, bizarre from there. And then other companies started reaching out after I was working with Sonic Boom, and then the thing is, when you're a percussion, you can't just work with one company. You can have a DJ like, DJ. Anybody will work with company X just because they have that kind of workflow. They
have the volume that they can work every weekend. Kind of like what Anthony has his own thing, but primarily works with me because I'm able to give him work consistently every week.
Right. There's yet to be a DJ company that can do that.
With the percussion. Well, it's more of something. It's an add-on feature. That's what what I mean.
Yeah, and it's getting more and more personal. I mean, when I first started doing it, I was watching guys doing it. This one guy, John Donovan, he was like the original guy, and he's got the marching drums and stuff. I never did marching stuff. I was like, okay, I can't. That's not my thing. And then you look at some other guys, like Papa King. He had just like timbales all over the place. And then my other friend Jules Rodino, who put me in touch with all the other companies I work with now, basically. Except for you, pretty much. And
shout out me.
well, I met you at that middle school function we talk about
I
all
went
the
up
time.
to you and I was like, hey, I know your friend. He's my friend.
Yeah.
We're going to work together in the future. You watch.
I know your friend.
That's it. And
we could be friends.
Tony hit him with the bat. Tony hit him with the bat.
We need this guy.
Yeah, but
taking him.
The whole thing just snowballed, and it's kind of gotten just almost out of my control, because now I'm getting calls. I'm doing a party in Italy in
what?
Yeah, in August.
That's awesome, man.
I said to do a party in Italy. It's a boat cruise, so that's cool.
Oh, those
And
are
they're
cool.
flying you to Italy and everything.
They're flying it, and I'm getting paid, which
I've
is
done
cool.
a couple of those.
Yeah.
Those are really cool.
I've been to Canada. I've never been outside the country. So me and my family drove upstate.
Wait, you've been to Canada?
Well, that's outside the country. I understand.
That's outside the country.
I understand. It's outside.
Don't set yourself
you
up
never
like
left
that.
the
I don't
continent.
care if we're on radio.
You never left the continent.
Right. That's thank you.
You never
Yeah.
You never left North America yet.
That's fine. Yeah. You get what I'm saying though.
Picking up what you're putting down.
At least you are. I could always.
Someone is.
I could. This wouldn't be an actual conversation with Will unless you try to step on me a
I
little
have to
bit.
step on you a little bit, buddy. I have to smear you in the ground a little bit.
It's like we're back at the Villager on a Tuesday night.
That's it, baby. It's a Tuesday.
No, but it's cool, and I've done stuff for the Islanders. I did their playoff games, 2016 at the Barclays.
Yeah, they made you a jersey, right?
Yep, they made me a custom Drummer J jersey.
That's so cool.
And I was working with DJ Espo on that one, and he's one of my favorite DJs. The guy is just. It's one thing when you're working with good people, not just good DJs. I mean, there's hundreds of good DJs out here, but some of them the ego gets in the way. It's kind of like
Yeah, we talk about that a lot.
Ego.
Ego?
A DJ?
Really?
Ego?
What?
No.
Really? Ego on a DJ podcast show? Like, jeez, who would have thought? No, but he doesn't have that. And the thing is, when I first started doing this, it was like, all right, I need to take any gig I can get because any gig is a good gig was always my motto. And now it's turned into like, okay, if I'm being requested for parties, I can
Pick
kind
and
of make
choose.
my rules.
Yeah.
So, and a couple of weeks ago, it was actually, I was talking with a wedding planner called me, and she goes, hey, so my bride, she's getting married in 2020, but she only wants you. I said, okay, like if I'm free, I'll, we'll do whatever. And she's like, oh, I talked to a bunch of companies, and like nobody would give me information except for this company. And then this company gave me a really hard time. I was like, well, what was the name of the company? And I'm not going to publicly bash them or anything, but it was a company that I don't work for. I've never.
And they were
worked
offering
for.
you?
They were offering me, saying they can get me.
Oh wow.
Oh yeah.
I mean, that's got to make you feel good, but at the same time,
it's bad because now the DJs are speaking on my behalf.
Right.
Yeah, and
exactly.
and it's like they're representing me.
Right.
So like they're saying, oh yeah, like you have to call us 2 weeks before the party, and then we'll call him and see if he's around. And that's not how I operate.
It's one thing if you were, solely working for one company, and then they're like, oh, we want Justin the Percussionist. But if they're saying, I want Justin the Percussionist, like, but you're your own entity.
Right.
It just so happens that sometimes you work as a subcontractor to these companies.
Right, and that it was weird because, and the thing was, is I auditioned for them when I was a kid. Yeah, when I was like, again, just starting out, and he's like, yeah, you're too short, you'll never actually make it or do anything with it. And that was the actual.
Really? I didn't actually know they said that. Wow.
Yeah, they actually like would not hire me. They said, okay, yeah, you move around a lot, that's cool. Your playing's good. Like they set my drums up in this little office. And I brought my full rig and I'm trying to do my show. And I'm thinking it's like any other band audition. You know the material, you go in there. They had me learn Papa's New Pig Bag remix, something like that.
Okay.
Like it's an old like
Old school
old
mix, okay.
tune. I was like, all right, cool. So I learned the whole thing. I learned the parts, and I really don't see this going anywhere. Like you're too short to MC, you're too short to play
Jeez.
drums. Like no one's gonna look at you. I was like, okay, and I just never heard from them again. And now this was like maybe 2 weeks ago, and they're like, oh, like they're selling you, and then not putting you on the job.
How the world comes around.
Right?
Yeah, how things
I was thinking
really
about this the other
change.
day because like I said, I've done other radio stuff before, and I'm always been like in the background. It's like Nick Tangoro's gonna be on the radio, and like I'm the percussionist, and then like or like I'm working with Evan Petruzzi. We did something at Rev, and she's country rock singer, and I'm just the drummer. It's like, oh, I'll let Evan talk about that. So I need to.
Now you're the guest, buddy.
Right.
I'm having you on as a guest.
So the other day I was thinking, and I teach privately too. All my students, they know I make a lot of analogies. So, and I was thinking, like, everyone thinks like the entertainment world is like this giant roller coaster, and it's really not a roller coaster as much as it's like one of those like tilt-a-hurl things, or like the vomit, or like a vomitron.
Tilt-a-hurl.
You know what I mean? Right?
Somebody clearly has a queasy stomach.
Right, because that's the thing. Because like,
No, that's funny. I've actually been on one of those rides and got puked on.
right,
So.
but that's the thing. Like you have,
him.
but no, it's definitely not me.
Before I knew him.
I've never puked on a ride before. But the analogy that I'm making is like when you get onto the ride, like you're all doing the same thing, but then you get the one guy who doesn't know what they're doing, and then just gets everyone, dirty with their stuff. I can try not to curse on this show.
All right, Gandhi.
Gandhi but like he's, you know what I mean? Like it just gets like nasty, and from the one guy that doesn't know what he's doing, and then we're all affected by it, and people don't realize how much like each company works together.
We've
with
talked
it.
about that a lot in the same way. It's just like when you dilute certain services that we offer, like a photo booth.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? When they used to be, a lot of, almost everyone's putting out a quality product. But now they've become cheaper. you're able to just go buy one for a couple $1,000s and offer whatever you want, and
Right.
people see the price tag at the end of the day, and they're like, "Oh man, I can get this one for $300. Why are you $800? Why are you $1,000?" Well,
Right.
when they show up that day and they don't have the ink, there's no attendant, it doesn't
Right.
work, it's ugly. That's why.
And the same thing goes with percussionists.
Exactly.
I know there's companies, especially on Long Island, that they'll use roadies. They'll buy some drums from Guitar Center, and they'll set them up in some random way, and they say, "Okay, roadie, here's some sticks. Go pretend like you're playing drums."
That's crazy.
And they're trying to sell that to people.
And that's crazy because don't get me wrong, DJing is 100% an art.
Yeah.
But if the world ended tomorrow and every DJ in the world was killed, and all I had was one person left, and I told them, press that button to make the music go on, they could do that. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying DJing's 100% an art.
I'm offended.
But to get good.
No, just
But to get the music on,
Yeah.
You don't need to do that.
Right.
However, not anyone could just walk up and hold a beat on a drum set. That's what I'm trying to say about it. But hold on, we're going to hold that thought and tell us where they can find us, a little recap of,
Join
all
us
that.
on our website at CuePointsPodcast.com.
There's a forum, right? They could join our club.
Absolutely. Yes, that's where we discuss all future topics and just anything to do with the DJ world. You can follow us on our socials, Instagram and Facebook at CuePoints Podcast.
The CuePoints Club. That's coming soon. Rewards card. Anytime you go on YouTube to watch it, you have to scan in
Oh, I
little
definitely
barcode.
do.
I like that.
All right, see, I'm always thinking, buddy. Every
The
sing-
CuePoints membership.
App.
Yeah, we'll see. Hey, one day, man.
Cue Points Go, and then you find DJs and you capture them in little balls. You know what I mean? Like Pokemon Go, Cue Points Go.
Well, we clearly know he does in his spare time.
He was literally just doing it before. He's like, this is a Poke Spot. What?
Justin, give us your socials real quick. Where can they find you online?
YouTube, just search my name, JustinScheidling.
Still confusing.
At Just Scheidling on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, Justin Scheidling Official, and it's pretty much the last name. The last name is ScheidLing.
I'm going to record that and play that back for me later on. CuePoints Podcast.
Just
We're
put it on
here
repeat.
every single Wednesday at noon. We have so much coming up. This is our 10th show, May 15th. We are, there you go. I love it. The CuePoints Podcast. We'll be back after this.
Hey, what's up, guys? It's Will from the CuePoints Mobile DJ Podcast, and we would love to get your opinion and your take on the DJ world in today's day and age and how much it's changed and everything going on and having to do with the mobile DJ universe. Give us an email at cuepointspodcast@gmail.com and let's get you involved in the conversation. Again, that's cuepointspodcast@gmail.com. We'll speak to you soon. If you're enjoying the CuePoints Mobile DJ Podcast, then you gotta give us a follow. Find us on Instagram and Facebook at CuePoints Podcast for giveaways, product reviews, and so much more. That's CuePoints Podcast on all social media platforms. Check us out.
Welcome back to CuePoints, the Mobile DJ Podcast. We have Justin here.
What's up, guys?
Just
Thanks for having
Justin?
me again.
Just Justin.
Just Justin hitting things.
Yeah.
I love that little saying you have. I hit things.
I hit
I
things.
love that.
My hashtag?
I love it.
Yeah, that's your caption on
Yeah,
on your socials, right?
The thing, one of my favorite drummers ever had a T-shirt, and it said "I hit things" on it, and apparently it was for like his own brand. He bought the name of it.
Oh, that's cool.
So I guess I may or may not be able to use it, but there's hashtag now. So now it's hashtag I hit things. So I guess I'm gonna try to get the rights to that if I can. Maybe.
It's
it's
a
just fun, 'cause
lifestyle.
the thing is, what I do is very simple.
Mm-hmm.
The idea of just taking a piece of wood and making a sound on a drum. Basically, it's a very simple concept.
It is,
But
but it's not at the same time.
Right.
Because don't forget, we've done this at your house because he has multiple drum sets set up in it because he does a lot of studio work where he'll be on one drum set and I'll be on the other. And he'll tell me to play what I hear. And then he plays something totally different. So it isn't it's not as simple as you
Right.
give yourself a little bit more credit. I'm just saying.
Right. I mean,
You toot your own horn enough. Just kidding.
I tried.
But
I've marched and beat on my own drummer. Is that what you're trying to get
Oh
at?
my God.
Really?
Oh.
You made me say it.
There's so many drum puns this kid could say right now. I like your congas. Like there's just they go on.
No, see, no one else. Only you say that. You're the only one that says that.
Well, I'm okay with that then. But all right, so Justin Scheidling's here with us. One of Long Island's most, and the area is just most premier party percussionist, studio drummer, and all around a halfway decent guy.
In high demand.
Thanks, appreciate that.
In high demand, this guy
Yes,
is.
he is. And speaking of high demand, I did see yesterday you put out a post that you are now have a new sponsor.
Yes.
So why don't you talk about that a little bit?
So I'm a gear freak. Even when I was DJing, I loved like having all the Denon stuff. You're like, I need to use QSC speakers. But when I play now, I just signed with Regal Tip drumsticks. I was playing another company for a long time, and Will used to make fun of me all the time because I've always hashtag that company. And
I want to say it.
I know you want to say it. But I stopped working at that company because I go through easily 2 pair of sticks per party times that by if it's for the DJ thing, that's 70 parties a year plus on top of the 130 other shows I do a year. I'm breaking stuff constantly.
Hitting stuff.
I think the last party that we did together, I was DJing and I see a stick go flying past my head.
Yeah.
I was like, what was that?
And they can get a little sharp. If they break the wrong way, they get a little sharp.
Yeah, because the thing is the quality build. When people talk about drums and drummers, the only thing between me and my instrument is the stick,
right.
And that's why I'm very into my drumsticks, and they
makes sense though,
right? I mean, same way some guys like their certain platters,
exactly, right.
Like
a
12-inch versus a 10-inch.
Guitarist likes a certain type of pick.
String, right.
It makes sense. It's your tool,
right?
It's how you're making it work.
Yeah, I was just about to say that.
So
it's how you do your art,
right? So with this company I just partnered up with Regal Tip. I've met them at NAMM a couple years ago, and I had a meeting with the other company, and they really just wanted nothing to do with me. They used to share my videos. Like I did the Ice Bucket Challenge. Mm-hmm. Other companies shared that video. I did some other random thing. They shared that video. It was cool. I go to have a conversation with them, and they're like, nah, you do the DJ thing. We don't need to talk to you. It's okay.
Wow.
I was like, okay, and I was discouraged, and I'm walking away, and then right across the aisle, it was Regal Tip, and they said, hey, come over, have a conversation. Then and some other friends of mine, put a good word. My friend Jules he used to be party percussionist. He was working with a lot of different companies out here, and now he plays for Blue Oyster Cult, and that's his main gig. And that's my dream.
Right.
This is the DJ thing is great for a while.
Yeah, that was gonna be my next question. Is kind of and I ask this to almost everyone that comes on. It's kind of I feel old when I ask this to everyone, but it is true. It's good to have a plan. So I know you're really trying to break out of almost just exclusively doing party percussion, and more so. So where do you see yourself going in the next couple of years as far as you still going to do parties or? Well,
I'm looking to, my show is kind of, it's elevated almost past just doing regular parties. Mm-hmm. A lot of guys will do, again, they show up and they'll play the same, 30 or 40 songs over and over again. There's guys that just don't play, I don't play the hip hop set. I don't play the Latin set. I don't do that. I never understood that could be a thing because the way I'm trained as a musician, and the music comes first. So and from the performance aspect. So if there's, if you want to drop on some random song from 1993, I gotta know a groove that's gonna work with that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I must say,
which has happened.
It was phenomenal how I could go from one song to another, and you would just pick it up instantly.
It's part
You're just
of the
so
job.
versatile,
and it takes a little bit of time.
A huge asset for you.
It takes time because when you're a DJ and you haven't, I remember when you first hadn't worked with Justin, it does take a little bit of time to figure out, okay, I can play whatever I want, but it needs to make sense.
Yeah,
as
I
far
wasn't
as
sure how it was going to work because at that point I had never played with a percussionist before.
Right, and it really just comes down to communication. But I mean, he's taken me to the side multiple times, especially after the last party we did. He's like, "Holy crap, man, he's so good." So I mean, it's a testament to.
And listen, I'm not the only guy that can play all these different styles. But my goal, or the thing that I wanted since I'm a kid, is to be a session guy. Mm-hmm. My favorite drummers are Kenny Aronoff and Russ Miller and. Vinny Colaiuta, guys that you wouldn't have heard of unless you know who they are.
Right.
They're the guys that play for John Mellencamp, and they play for Justin Bieber, and they play for, Meghan Trainor on the record, and then they're kind of done. Like you can see them at Stop and Shop, and like I don't want to be famous. That's not like a thing I'm going for.
Like
here.
a ghost rider, a ghost drummer.
Kind of, but they're called session guys, and they play with different bands all the time.
I think a ghost drummer's a cool name.
Ghost drummer.
I think it's better.
Okay.
Be different.
I can try that.
Hit things.
Ghost thing. #Ghost drummer.
Ghost thing.
Ghost drummer. Dude, there you go.
All right.
There you
That
go.
could be cool.
The ghost drummer.
You heard it here on CuePoints podcast.
Right? Yeah.
You wear all white. Your drums are all white.
Okay.
You use your H1s and you do UV lighting.
Okay.
You are the ghost
The
drummer.
ghost drummer. I've done a lot of Halloween parties, and I've done some stuff over like at Danforth's on North Shore. Like I do the thing is I went from doing a lot of weddings and these small private events where jumping off speakers is usually frowned upon, and people really kind of dug it. And then I've done a lot of private events now where it's escalated. So I do like the Danforth Halloween party every year, and I dress up as Spider-Man.
He has a full-blown Spider-Man.
Yeah, so if you've ever been to a
Like-
Danforth Halloween party, you see the Spider-Man playing
Like a
drums,
legit
it's me.
costume? That's awesome.
Skin tight, like the special like boxers underneath it. Like it's really I go hardcore.
Okay.
I go hardcore with my
He had to
Spider-Man.
tell you he goes hardcore. It wasn't already by the skin
that
tight
wasn't already-
outfit. I didn't know by that point.
I'm always prepared.
You've also done that cool. You did EDC.
Yeah,
That was pretty sick.
Did you really?
Yeah, I did EDC with Street Drum Corps. Street Drum Corps is run by Frank Zumo, the drummer for Sum 41. It's his side project, and he did some stuff with like Tommy Lee a couple years ago, and they made this heavy metal drum show, and I got the call from it. And they're like, "Oh yeah, so you're gonna be dressed up like a clown." I was like, "Okay, cool. Like, it's fine." And like, you need to, we'll have some drums for you provided. And I was like, I Googled EDC because again, like, I know drum stuff. I mean, I watch drum videos all day long. I don't look at like DJ stuff. It's different than DJ festivals. I was like, "You're gonna play EDC." It's like 60,000 people, and you're opening for Yellow Claw, and you're playing with. A whole bunch of other people I just didn't know. I think her name was like DJ Jane or something. Because the thing is like when they're shuttling you in and out of like the events and parks and stuff, there's people like ODing on God knows whatever else. Like your security is like way on top of you the entire time.
Yeah.
But when I did that, I was talking with their booking person, and said, "Oh, we got these drums for you." What they said, they said like, "You have these marching drums that light up. Can you bring them?" I was like, "Sure." So I brought my light up LED drums, and then when we're playing it, 11 o'clock at night, the all gets lit up. So then everybody found my lights, and then they put them on the drums, and like the whole drum section. It was me and two other guys. It was my friend Will Brenzecki, who I met at Five Towns. He's a bodybuilder now, and then they had my other friend Jimmy Kane, right now he's touring with Street Drum Corps still. They're doing stuff with Kazoo, some
Kaizu? I don't know.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. You would know more than
Kazoo.
but that's what they're doing now. You know what I mean? And
That's
but
cool.
at EDC, that was like a whole idea of like and from everything that I do has been like a learning experience. What can I apply from here to here? So seeing all these people go nuts over EDM.
Yeah, I could see you easily being on a stage at like an EDM festival.
I would love
with,
to
like,
do that. Like,
fishbowl drums or whatever. Like,
I would love to do that.
like with
that's-
fish inside, like craziness. Just
I don't
absolutely.
think that would.
You've never seen that? I know
You've seen
you've
it? Oh,
seen
yeah,
that.
yeah. I
There's-
know that.
Wait, you
one
can do
guy
that?
built a drum set and they had fish inside with water.
Right,
I
yeah.
felt really bad for
Yeah.
the fish because they
Yeah.
probably
How does that
died.
work?
Like,
Well,
What's
it's all electronic. So it's like
Oh,
my beat
okay.
drums. Like they'll hit it.
That's why I was like,
Yeah.
how does that work?
no, it still works. No, it still works.
Actually, if you guys watch
How does the
Animal
sound
Planet,
come out?
the Tanked did the same thing for a music store. And
That's
There you
cool.
go.
Yeah.
But I could totally see you on a stage. And so I mean, so you hadn't been on a stage before we did Steve Aoki with an EDM guy, have you?
Well, when I did the Islanders stuff, I was with DJ Espo, and
Okay.
that was I was at Barclays. That was doing the halftime show for, and then when I did stuff with the Mets, I was with Kevin Baratini. We did one of their sponsor games, and that was in front of like Kevin James was there. He was like on the rival team that plays with the Mets, and then there's. Justin Long was another like celebrity that was there. So I've done the show on stage with people. I've done parties where it's at a hall with the stage, and then with DJ Loki, I do Napper Candies in Smithtown often, and it's just cool seeing people react to the DJ this way.
He's a great DJ too. And
He's
been
phenomenal.
around. We had him on the show last week when we were live at our DJ Now for the QSC giveaway.
DJ Danger.
Yeah, Danger. He was that was the.
He's such a cool
I
guy.
thought
He's so
Anthony was
funny.
gonna have a heart attack from that interview, man. It was quite.
They're
he's
such good guys. Him and
quite the character.
Mnemonic too.
I know, I kept looking at you.
They always bring me in and I would do this show. Yeah, and
Gotcha.
it's cool. And then Loki's the guy that kind of started throwing on all the Blink-182 stuff,
Mm-hmm.
and like he'd do all these weird, no, not weird. Like they're weird for me, but like they're cool, like things I wouldn't usually get. Doing a wedding where you got to play, Sweet Caroline, you got to play along with the 50 set, where and it's kind of expanded, and that's where my show is kind of heading toward now, where I'm not saying I'm no longer doing weddings, but
You just gave like 30 brides heart attacks.
right. No, I don't know if I
We've
I
had
said
him booked for months.
Right.
What?
No. But my
quitting on
show
CuePoints?
is no, I'm not far from it. But I'm definitely moving toward more of a bigger show with it because
And that's okay, man. I mean, that's not anything to be like sad about. I mean, you're just
No, absolutely
growing.
not.
It's
Right.
like when I first started, Enjoyable Entertainment, we did a lot of very small events.
Right.
We don't really take many small events anymore because we're doing bigger events.
Right.
It's not that I don't want to do those smaller events, but I just don't want to do those smaller events.
Right.
It's just we moved on to a new era, and that's not a bad thing.
And that's where my show is going, and it's cool. It's really great, like I said. And then this summer, I have a bunch of dates. I'm doing I can't remember the name of the place now. This is so bad. I'm playing this place in the Hamptons. It'll be on my website. I'll have the actual name of the place. I don't want to get it wrong and send people to the wrong place.
Where are they going to your website? Where are they finding
JustinScheidling.com. So
Okay.
JustinScheidling.com.
Is that like the song your mom taught you to remember your name?
Yep, that is 100%. Teresa and Wolfie.
And Wolfie.
Teresa and Wolfie.
Wolfgang Scheidling. That's such a cool name, man.
That is a really
I was
cool
Your
supposed
dad
to
should have
be
been a
junior.
rapper.
I was supposed to be junior. I was supposed to be like Wolfgang Jr. He was like,
I
no,
know.
the kids make fun of you. I was like, and he had no.
Hold on, I want you to look me right in the eyes really quick. Would I ever
They couldn't even do it.
just be happy you're not a junior. Let me be the junior.
Well, Wolfgang Scheidling Jr. is the guy from Game of Thrones. Is what it would be.
Basically what
He's
we're
the
saying
lost
right
character.
now. That's so
Oh,
funny.
jeez, but
So no, dude, it's always good to grow and to go into new avenues. But and so tell me from a DJ's perspective what it's like kind of working with the party percussionist.
I saw it as only an asset. I mean, it just made the party that much better. It made me look that much better, and
well, we work together.
yeah.
It's not about making everybody looks making someone look good or better. I mean, like the thing is, like I wouldn't have a show if it wasn't for a good DJ behind me. And like you spin amazingly well. Like you're really good at what you do.
that's so nice to
Am I
watch.
blushing?
But it's easy.
It's just spaghetti. Somebody get some spaghetti in here.
The thing is, like with the DJs, if you can't mix, I can't play, and people don't understand. that.
Although I have to say the party that we did was a little tough transition wise, and you just killed it.
That was an awesome party.
It was a rock
that
show.
party was
Yeah.
all rock.
I was going
it was
into
all
a transition,
alternative rock,
and I was
pop,
like,
punk.
this is going to be rough. I hope he can work with this, and just
Yeah.
instantly you're in it.
It's just fun. You know what I mean? And the thing is, like, it's not just fun, but it is fun, but it's not just fun. the thing is, like, with those shows though, like it's a drum set based kind of music. I mean,
Right.
like we were doing Blink-182, we were doing some 41. We
were
on,
rocking out.
We did for my
a
girlfriend. We
great
did some patent pending. And
That's right.
we did that, and then you guys let me do some of the Blue Man Group stuff that I learned for the Blue Man Group
The
show.
Blue Man Group stuff.
Dude, that
What is
had
that?
me-
Why don't you tell me about that?
So a couple years ago,
That had
I
me so amped up when we did that.
I did the Blue Man Group competition because I no longer did they got rid of the Guitar Center competition, and I used to do that every year. So I stopped doing that when I did the Blue Man Group one. I flew down to Florida, and I was hanging out with people, and the goal was never actually to win anything. I just wanted to make some like solid connections, because like the winner got like a drum set, and
you
you've
don't
seen my
need that.
opponent.
Yeah, you don't. He's got drums like I got speakers. All right, put it that way.
It's a lot of drums, a lot of speakers. The thing is, I just went to go make my connections, and I ended up making friends with a bunch of guys in the show. And there was talk for a little while of other shows opening up, and I was and I scared a lot of companies because I was going to do the Blue Man Group thing, and that was my thing. Like since like my my dream since I'm a kid. I wanted to be in Blue Man Group. That was always like my
I could
thing.
totally see you.
That was my thing. I was like, I'll be blue, and then I look at the website. You got to be between 5'8" and 6'4". I was like, okay, I lost. So it's like done. You know, I'm barely skimming 5'3", so that wasn't going to happen. But there was a show that I saw. I was watching America's Got Talent. It was like the first year it came out, back when Regis Philbin was hosting. And when I saw that first, they had the Blue Man Group come out. They were doing this Baba O'Reilly tune that they do in the show, and I saw these guys using these clear drums, and it was cool. And I just want to do that over, and that's where like my idea for my show came through. I was like, I need to do that kind of energy, but with a DJ, and I kind of incorporated that in as well.
Well, that's what I meant when I said like you just made it that much better. You're just so animated, and it's on like a personal level. Like everybody at the party is just so involved, so into it that much more, you know, because it is a performance and it's a personal performance, and I think you don't really get that a lot. So
it's definitely different. It's definitely a really cool add-on, and I think that people don't understand it until they see it. That's why we have a lot of killer videos of you. We do, because it's such a cool thing to add on that people just don't understand, and the fact that you actually take, you know, you play a lot of times where I've seen other percussionists, they stop playing. Like you literally put on a 4-hour show. Like if it's a 4-hour gig, you're out there almost the entire time, unless they're doing like a toast. But like if we're doing like a wedding and we're doing the garter, you know, he's doing a drum roll, you know, making it fun just being versatile. You know,
it's if you gotta want to be there. You know what I mean? Like I get to wake up every morning and get to play drums. Like
it's cool.
It's
you couldn't ask for any more, right?
I couldn't. I get to wake up, and if it's not even a party, I'm doing a recording session, or I'm playing with a band, or
it's also probably good that it's also always different. You know, it kind of keeps it fresh. I'm sure.
Absolutely. There was a couple of years where I did nothing but weddings, and I got burnt out. There was one year I did like almost 110 weddings or something like that. Weird. And like by like the 90th party, I'm like, okay, oh look, we're going to Twist and Shout. Oh look, and it's like
I mean anything that gets repetitive, you know, is just it's tough.
But like but doing my session thing as a drummer full time, you know, I mean I played with reggae bands, and then I've done like hip hop bands, and then I've done, you know, a jazz trio on a Saturday night. Then the next day I was doing EDC, and then Monday I'm back with a country band, like just next to next to next.
I think that's what keeps you at the top of your game.
It's interesting. You can play every genre,
right?
It's from learning the instrument. You know, it's like a lot of guys now, like they're, you know, not a lot of guys. I mean, there's just plenty of amazing other percussion that do what I do. I'm not the only guy that plays percussion at a high level,
right?
But there's a lot of guys now, like especially they'll go to Guitar Center, they'll buy some cheap stuff, and they go, oh, I'm gonna play drums now, or like I get people like message me on Facebook all the time and like, what kind of drums are you using? Like I need those drums, and like I custom made them, so you're never gonna find them, and B, don't ask me that stuff.
Right.
I mean, like,
I also find it very cool. So Justin, in his studio, he has all these different like instruments from around the world that he can throw into his sets, like from Africa, and he knows everything about them. I'm like looking at it, I'm like, oh, that looks pretty cool. He'll like tell me like, yeah, it's from like the coast of Zimbabwe, and I'm like, where did you get it? He's like, from a guy in Zimbabwe, and I'm just like, that's cool, man. And I know there was a couple times where I'm like, yeah, they want to make this type of sound. He's like, I have what I need. I was like, is it from the guy from Zimbabwe? He's like, no, that's Ghana.
No, this is Ghana guy.
That was good. That was a good follow-up.
That was good. Each show is different, you know, and I try to incorporate whatever I can. I mean, like, you know, sometimes like the rock show, like when we did that that one Sweet 16, you know, they wanted, you told me it was going to be a really heavy rock show, so I brought the rock drums. You know, I bring the different cymbals. You know, I've done some parties where it's all Latin.
Different tools out of your
all
shit.
Latin. So it's like, all right, I brought like the extra cowbells. I'll bring a güiro. I'll bring, you know, all these other different instruments, and I try to incorporate that, and I always keep it fresh too.
So, Justin, one more time, give us all the social media, where they can find us, any type of public things you're doing soon, all that type of stuff. All right. Stuff.
So I remember the name of the place, by the way. So I'm going to be at the Southampton Social Club not every week this summer, but I have the dates listed on my website, which is justinscheidling.com, JUSTINSCHEIDLING.com.
I'm going to be singing that later in the car.
Thanks, Lisa.
It's going to work. I need like a basic. like underneath it. And then just Instagram, Just Scheidling at JUSTSCHEIDLING, and that's for Twitter, Facebook, Justin Scheidling Official. If you just Google Drummer J, that comes up too sometimes.
Yeah, that's come up. Yeah.
And if you go to like pretty much every DJ website you could think of, like if there's anyone who booked a DJ out here, if you go to their website, you'll probably see me on there.
You are on a lot of.
So if you're
on mine, I know that for a fact.
Yeah, so you can go to the Enjoyable Entertainment website and you can find me on there.
Yes, you can.
And,
Certainly can.
That's a game we play whenever we go to like the Nassau Coliseum.
And give us one more time where they can find us. Where can they find us every single Wednesday?
Wait, where?
Yeah.
Spotify, Apple Podcasts. Where can't you find us?
Yeah, that's true,
YouTube.
man. YouTube. Where are they going on YouTube?
Anthony Garcia DJ Vlogs.
And check out all the rest of your vlogs you
yes,
have. Because they're
absolutely.
all enjoyable entertainment.
I make the gig logs. You can see everything that happens at the parties.
All the gig logs.
CuePointsPodcast.com and Instagram and Facebook at CuePoints Podcast.
We are here every single Wednesday at noon. So many more episodes coming up. We're only 10 in. So we have a lot more to go, all right? It's not even close.
It feels good to hit the 10 mark.
Yeah,
though.
exactly. We did something, all right?
It makes me feel like we're
Thank you, man.
an established podcast now. We're making some really solid connections, and
Couple big meetings coming up. A lot
you
of good
guys
things.
are watching regularly, and
You guys. You up there. I see you folks at home. Justin, one more time, man. I want to thank you from Anthony and I
Yes,
for coming
thank you so
on,
much.
man.
Thank
I
you guys
really
for having me.
appreciate it.
This is great. I want to come back. I want to hang out.
And you will be. The
You're
CuePoints
welcome,
Mobile
anytime.
DJ Podcast every Wednesday. We're here at noon. We'll see you again next week.